good morning. Well, it's a fantastic morning for me because I am at the Natural History Museum. This stunning building behind me is absolutely gorgeous and it's full of amazing, cool, awesome fossils and fun stuff that we can get up to and go and investigate. But right now I am standing in the new garden. I'm so excited to go and explore this museum. I was lucky enough to grow up close enough to London that going to the Natural History Museum was something I did quite a bit, and that was just down to like my awesome parents, and particularly my mum would go on like days out together and go explore all the things in London. But this was always my like number one kind of pick, is to come and see this fantastic museum, explore the natural history. I've always just been so interested in the kind of museum-y, sciencey aspect of all of it, and I haven't stopped coming since. Every time I'm down in London, I try and get a chance to go. If you're new to this channel, my name is Elizabeth. I'm a marine biologist, and so I'm going to be going to the Natural History Museum and trying to find the most marine-y things that I can. Many times I've been there, I've kind of collected a load of stuff that I love to go and see, my favourite marine things, but there's always something new to find. So we're going to be zipping around, hitting my like usual things and exploring the rest of the museum to try and find as much marine-y loveliness as possible. But before we go in, I'm actually going to have a little explore of an area I have never explored before, and that is where I am standing now. This is the new garden that they're opening up, which is open now. It's not all done. There's like the garden kitchen which isn't done yet, and it's really nice. There's all these lovely trees and there's rocks and there's lots of things to go around. Oh, and I'm standing by a coral reef sign, so I'm going to read that in a second and run away from the bee, which is doing its best. I'm imagining that I'm attracting the bees because of this lovely outfit. It's not natural history, but it is the history of Shrek, which can't get far better than that. So I'm going to have an explore of this area first, and then we're going to go head in and explore the museum. So if you've never been to the Natural History Museum, this is the perfect video to come along with. If you've been and you want to catch some marine gems that are in there, watch the video. And if you want to see me talk about stuff, watch the video. Well, that rocks. Adapting to life on land. I'm good. I'd rather adapt back into the sea, please. Now, it's no secret that I am a massive fan of sea life over land life. I mean, I love all nature, but I love a running joke that it is, in particular, the sea life that I love. There was one time that a swap to a sea-loving thing was particularly hard. Is that when the Natural History Museum changed its, I think it was a Diplodocus, its dinosaur as you walked in, into Hope the blue whale. Now, I love seeing Hope the blue whale. I love the fact that as soon as you walk into, and you'll see it in a second, the Natural History Museum, there is a giant, awesome whale skeleton. I just think it is incredible to see, and I have watched it and drawn it and loved it so much. But you know, people are creatures of habit, and I had always walked into the Natural History Museum and seen this awesome dinosaur since I was very young, and I missed it. But what I love about this garden is that they have brought it back. They have made a sculpture of that original fossil to hang outside, and so that everyone can come and explore it and enjoy both. So I'm going to go and see that for the first time. It's just behind me. I'm very excited. I have been distracted by a shiny worm. Oh, it's so cool. Wow. Wow, I love it so much. It's so cool. Feels smaller outside though. It feels like it just fits in, maybe because it's like dwarfed by the trees and this gorgeous building. Or Or maybe it's I'm remembering seeing it when I was even smaller than I am now as a kid. But it's lovely to see again. But now I can see that, like, oh, the whale is so big and impressive when you walk in. I can see why they also made that squat. But it's so nice to see. I think it's called Dippy. Dippy the Diplodocus, maybe? It's so cool. Ooh, I see some amniotes. That's sea stuff. The natural winged formation of tiny dinosaurs in London. These tiny dinosaurs of London really are quite a familiar sight to anyone that visits. Oh my goodness, look how small this is! This is the smallest animal. This is the small furry animal of earliest known mammals. Early mammals evolved traits that made them well suited for an active lifestyle. Oh my goodness. That's so small. Wait, I know what this calls for. I need to shrink.
So, this is a small beginning. The small furry animal is one of the earliest known mammals. Early mammals evolved traits that made them well situated for an active lifestyle, such as changes to their limbs that made them more mobile. They were able to generate their own body heat, which meant they could survive in the cooler regions where most reptiles could not. This has been Small Sessions with Marine Mammals.
Oh, big again. Let's carry on, shall we? It's easier to... Wow, this whole section is just so awesome. I'm not going to share every little bit of the museum or every little bit of the gardens. I feel like sometimes I just want to leave that to people to explore, but I'll give you the good vibe and the good gist and show you some of the best stuff. And then you can see that actually, we can hear as well, that they're working on the front of the Natural History Museum, so if there's been a bit of building noise, hopefully that will disappear when we're inside. And you can't see it in quite its full glory today, but it's still absolutely stunning, and I cannot wait to show you the inside. I can't wait to go see the giant whale and all of the other awesome stuff that is in here. Lots of it marine-y. And what a perfect day for it. I'm so excited. Now that I live in Scotland, coming to London is such a treat, and I just can't wait to soak up all of the awesome knowledge and facts and things that I forget about, and you come back and you're like, oh my god, this is so cool. And excited to take you along with me. Look at this building. I think this is probably my favourite building in the world. It is absolutely stunning to look at, and there are some real awesome little nuggets of things hidden within the building themselves that I can't wait to show you. Now you should expect to get bag searched when you go into the Natural History Museum and lots of places in London. That's for security reasons. So I am going to try and film you as I go in, but depending on where the bag check is, we might have to put the camera away for a bit just so we can make sure that is all done nice and safely. And then I will see you in a minute. This is so exciting. Wow. Isn't that just one of the most impressive things you've ever seen? Not just the building, but the beautiful whale. Oh, I'm so happy. Both the dinosaur and the whale was now included in the Natural History Museum, winning. I'm totally loving life. Oh, well, that's new as well. Discovering new things. So instead of a bag search, they just did a, whatever it is when you scan your body, X-ray magic, is that what it's called? And now we're into the main hall of the Natural History Museum, which is beautiful. Just look how gorgeous this architecture is. Look how gorgeous this whole space is. Honestly, this is like my favourite place. I'm so excited. Now I know that the incredible Destiny the blue whale is where you want to get all of your lovely shots from, and don't worry everyone, I'm going to be videoing and talking about this beautiful whale in just a second. But in this main hall you can see that there are these little archways, and in each of these archways there are lots of different things that you can go and see. For example, right as you walk in, you have lovely stuffed giraffe and giraffe, skeleton fossil thing. But I'm going to take you straight away to one of my favourite marine spots. You would not expect to be in the main hall that you can get to within 30 seconds of going into the Natural History Museum. You will pass the big whale, you will pass the first entrance on the left, and in this little tiny alcove here is my first incredible marine find. A ton and ton of seaweeds. Now we're not going to comment on the fact that this is usually empty quite a lot of the time, because it's underrated. This is why I'm showing everyone on my YouTube channel, so that you can go and explore and see this. But this is a gorgeous, gorgeous seaweed pressing. I recognise a lot of these seaweeds that you can find rock pooling in my rock pooling videos. We've got some incredible kelp here, some gorgeous Chondrus crispus up the top in the corner, just unbelievable, lovely amount of species. We've got some lava here, some sea kelp. Dichotoma is there. Some absolutely stunningly gorgeous species, and this is just really awesome. I love that we are showing like seaweed right here, right in the middle, and showing seaweed that you can find here in the UK, and at such a scale. You know, this looks so tall. It is super tall. It's showing how big and giant kelp can get, how beautiful the reds and the greens can get by being lit up. And actually I spent a summer doing like an internship where I had to look at the surface area of seaweed, so we had to like lay them all out and scan them in and stuff, so I had to do a lot of this. It's so hard to actually lay out seaweeds like this and get them to look really pretty, and doing seaweed pressing. I've done a video on that, which you can check out here, on how to press seaweeds and how to do this display and holding out, because there's definitely a knack to getting it to not just go like crinkled up. This is the perfect place to tell you one of my favourite seaweed facts, right with this gorgeous background of UK seaweeds. So if everyone watching this video right now takes a deep breath, and we can say thank you to trees for that one, because that's the oxygen in the air, the atmosphere that comes from trees. But if we take another deep breath, we can say thank you to algae for that, because actually 50% of the oxygen that is made on Earth comes from algae. So macroalgae like this, big algae, but also the teeny tiny little bits of microalgae plankton that are living in our seas is producing oxygen for us. It is making the planet able to breathe and live and exist, and making us have a home. So it is more than right that these seaweeds have a spot, pride of place in the Natural History Museum. I was so happy when it came in. It was so good. There is also another marine thing right in this hall as well, which is going to be a fan favourite with lots and lots of people. It is a giant bit of coral. So the reason that this can be displayed is because coral produces a calcium carbonate skeleton. So it's an animal that takes in nutrients from the outside and it turns it into stone. So it forms a stone skeleton. So when the coral dies, it actually forms these big stone kind of structures that are then, I suppose, collected and used within museums. I don't suppose it happens like now, as in like not collecting live specimens, but that is an example of a lovely coral that you can then go and show people. So there's 2 floors to like the main mezzanine level of the main hall, and if we head up to the 2nd floor, you get a much closer, nicer view of Destiny the whale, which we're just about to do, and try not to ruin too many people's photos. You will see a statue of Charles Darwin, the guy that come up with the idea of, you know, evolution and stuff. But a bit of a fact about what I went to uni is that I went to uni, the Swansea Uni, and our building was called the Wallace Building, because this is Darwin, and then this person next to him has got like a little picture up here. This is Wallace. Just like, you know, just gives a little packing off to the side. Now, I'm not going to lie, I don't know the ins and outs of it, and I probably should go and fact check this before I say it, so I might pop back in and recorrect. But from memory, Darwin had come up with the idea, or was thinking about these ideas of evolution. And at the same time, so was Alfred Russel Wallace. And the reason our building was named after him was to give him a bit more credit, because Alfred Russel Wallace sent his ideas to Darwin to collaborate, to be like, hey, I think we're on the same idea here, let's chat. And then Darwin got them and was like, I need to publish this pretty quick, because this Alfred Russel Wallace guy is like, he gets it too. And so yeah, so that's where Wallace gives like a nice little painting of Darwin's got his big statue. Particularly love about Hope being the main attraction as you walk into the Natural History Museum now is that Hope is not a fossil. Hope is a blue whale. It is the largest animal on our planet. I think, is it the largest animal to ever exist? I don't know. It's definitely the largest animal on our planet now, the largest sea creature, and it's something that is in our oceans right now. This museum is full of amazing ways to connect with nature without necessarily being in nature. You know, we're in a building right now, but there's something about also having that connection be to stuff that you can go and see now, not a dinosaur that was 220 million years ago. I love that people can get excited about that. I love that people are so thrilled about dinosaurs, but having something tangible now that we can celebrate our own natural world that we need to protect right here as soon as you walk through the door, and that's the main message, is something I think is just unbelievably lovely and so important. And I think we can all agree that Hope as a name does have a certain bit of cheese to it. There is some cheesiness in its naming, but I love the message. I love the idea behind it, because particularly at this stage in humans' evolution, in our planet's evolution, you know, in our understanding of natural history, this is the point at which animals and nature is being threatened. It is the point at which we need hope. Hope that humans, the people walking into this museum and seeing Hope, are going to make the changes and can use their voices to protect the creatures that we love so much, so that it doesn't all end up just being in a natural history museum, that they can live and thrive and survive in the wild as well as the memory of them here. are focusing on marine animals today, but I just love the fact that in the Natural History Museum there is so many things that can just float so many people's boats. Like whatever your interests are, there's usually something in here. And this entire absolutely giant room is just full of lovely, lovely rocks. And it's gorgeous to look at, and now I'm thinking I need to come back and draw some rocks in particular because they're so cool. But as someone that now plays a lot of D&D, and my character in particular loves touching some shiny things, I just feel like if I even went up to one of these and had a look at it, like I'm gonna just put on a quest, right? These are definitely quest rocks, yeah? So there is another little stairs that you can take. If you walk up the stairs at the main hall, walk all the way up to the other end, and there's another little step of stairs where you can get some awesome views of the whale again, and also see a giant tree. I mean, it's always cool to see, but that just makes me sad. I feel like that wonderful, beautiful tree had such a long, lovely life. And it's just a shame. It's always a shame when there's a tree that gets cut down. So built into the Natural History Museum are some incredible little sculptures. Some of them are so funny and so cheeky. Some of them are really gorgeous. There's like lovely flowers and beautiful vines. And there's also some marine stuff, so I'm gonna go and find them to show you later. I just love it so much. Including like the gorgeous paintings on the roof. If you're into scientific art, this is somewhere to come because beautiful. So for anyone that's in Scotland and London quite a bit, I recognise that ship straight away that was in that picture because it is the Discovery, which is in Dundee. I've seen that probably at least once a week, if not more. Probably way more than that for absolutely years. And that is the ship that went up and did all these amazing Antarctic discoveries. And that was a letter written there that was on the crew at the time, which I think is really cool. Well, again. Scientific artist, I'm someone who has now been paid to, do illustrations for scientific things, which just blows my mind. I love how the Natural History Museum is more and more increasingly putting an emphasis on that link between science and art. And that glass sculpture was a great example of how people are inspired by nature. It is inspiring, seeing the beautiful forms that have evolved and exist in our world that can look completely different and new depending on what's there. It just blows my mind. I am blown away every time I go rock crawling by the beauty of nature. And also in our past being used please come in and experience the underwater sounds of the River Thames. Yeah. This is cool. Oh, we should be quiet. Wow, that was cool. I have to say, it does sound a lot like what I edit out of my rock crawling footage. Like the clicks and that rustling sound of just like life underwater is so cool. But not great for video editing to have all the time. But also scientific art was really intrinsically linked to scientific discovery. Drawing something in exact to show other people what you've seen, having to represent, this is how I identified this, and then how do you identify it, even is used now, is used through drawings and descriptions, as well as photos are kind of an add-on, because an individual photo of an organism might change. You might need to identify 20 of them to get the kind of gist, and representing that in art is much better. Just come to find a slightly more quieter spot, because where I want to show you next is just over there. And but talking about scientific art and stuff, but there is still that disconnect. There's that disconnect between science being this creative endeavour, that art is so intrinsically linked to it, but there seems to be this thing where you can't be creative in science, and scientific is so creative that it's such a myth. And even growing up, it didn't occur to me that I could become a marine biologist and also could become someone that draws sea life and makes videos and creates all of these different things to share about nature. And I think that is an amazing thing to be able to share. And the Natural History Museum a couple of years ago put in a new exhibition down this corridor that I absolutely love. It's become maybe my favourite exhibition in any kind of section of a museum anywhere, because it's called Images of Nature, and just really just gives a whole space and dedication to scientific art. This whole corridor, it's so cool. First year of uni, we had a really big plants module, and the first ever module, the first ever lecture I ever went to at university was on marine algae and then onto diatoms. And the lecturer was made us chant what's the best type of algae? Coccolithophores, because they are so intricate and gorgeous and produce these wonderful, wonderful things. And then that was the first ever lecture I had. And then in my first year of uni, we didn't have another single bit of marine stuff. The marine biology lecturers got us on the boat and did all this other stuff on the side to try and keep the marine people happy, but the rest of it was all terrestrial zoology stuff. So I was my first ever lecture was marine, and then I had a whole year of not being marine, and then my last 2 years were full marine to make up for it. I am all for this, and for just including just the public and young people and encouraging that link and that connection and showing how awesome photography and science is linked. I mean, this is just so amazing. To give such an awesome space to this scientific art is just lovely. I mean, look at this. So skilled. So this is not Marini, but this is one of my favourite stories. So dodos are known as being these big, fat, plump birds. And that was actually just based off of a drawing that wasn't based on much evidence. I think they had only found like the bones of something and they just kind of like made it. I think I read somewhere that it was like made a lot bigger, a lot plumper, because that was kind of what you wanted a bird to look like, because that's what you wanted to eat. It was like these big fat birds that were like, art was drawing them big because that was supposed to be like the best chicken or the best goose or whatever. And so this painting is taking someone's like original dodo picture and kind of thinning it down a bit to try and make it a bit more reasonable and not be such like this fat bird. I just think that is fascinating, and that's how like science and art, you know, it can get misconstrued in that way because it is an interpretation, and that one just went wild. I think this is one of my absolute most favourite drawings of all time. I could stare at how amazingly it is sketched, how the bits of dark to light, the area, the texture. I've stared at this painting for so long. Every time I come here, I love it. One bit I don't think is in here anymore that might have been in here from memory was that they had a section for people in lockdown that went out and took photos and drew drawings, and how important the connection of nature was to us then, which I really love. But then at the end of this corridor, after going along the whole thing, on the exit door here is a whole section about communicating, about doing science communication, and I mean, I can't believe that this is my job now, that this is what I get to do. I get to come to places like this and read up about the amazing world of our oceans and find fun ways to tell people about it, find ways to help people connect, to get people excited about our seas and about our nature and about our life. And if I had seen this section as a kid, like, that might have been something I wanted to do from the start. This has been something that sort of naturally occurred to me. I've just always been so in love with our oceans. I've wanted to tell people about it and think it's important to do so, and it's just kind of where my career path has led. But I had no idea science communication was a thing until I was doing it, and now I've got so many friends that are science communicators and maths communicators and just good communicators, and that as a skill is so important. And so if anyone is looking to get into science anyway, doing stuff with communication is, I think, just unbelievably important, if not as important as the science itself, because the way that we share the knowledge that we learn as scientists, you know, as we're trained and we gain these skills and research and stuff, having the ability to share that with others and not keep it super technical and super behind walls, and only the people that have had, you know, years and years and years of education could even understand. Like, I'm Googling words constantly. Even me, like, after getting a doctorate, it doesn't mean anything because it's so complicated. I'm having to Google all of these little words, and I just don't like that. I don't like it being I understand that it's there to help use terms within people in that field, you know, the experts in that niche, they can use those terms, but I just think it's far more important to be able to take those amazing ideas and share it with everyone, because everyone can understand it. It's just on the person, the scientists themselves, to make sure that person can, because they have all the knowledge. They just need to communicate it well. So we are kind of at like the back of the old part of the Natural History Museum, and there's been a new centre, I don't know when it was added, and just a newer part of the build, just to help you if you're navigating around. It can get quite like, there's lots of corridors, lots of ups and downs. We've not even covered like half the museum yet. But if you walk through this corridor, the images of nature, and you carry on walking to the new bit, there's a really cool exhibit with lots of lovely, well, I'll show you. We'll just go through, shall we? Because the first time I saw this, I was like, what? It was cool. Okay. Are you ready? It's another giant whale. I think this was here before the other whale, but this, you can see just how big whales are. This, every time I see this, I need to get on a boat now, and I need to go and see this in real life, because that would just be phenomenal.
Hi, whale.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm okay.
Are you really?
Yeah, I'm really great.
Yay! Hey, whale, will you intro my YouTube channel?
Sure. Welcome to Marine Mumbles.
Thank you.
So right, this is pretty impressive, isn't it? There's these amazing whales, there's all this, we've seen like dolphins and sharks and all these awesome creatures. There is a whole section in the Natural History Museum dedicated to marine invertebrates. Now, marine invertebrates are my thing. I love them. They are my absolute, like, life. This is what I study. This is what I chair people about. This is the weird and the wonderful stuff. So I'm always really excited to go and find out anything to do with marine invertebrates. Just follow this round. Higgledy-piggledy. So given that I love marine invertebrates so much, I'm just going to throw a little bit of shade at the museum here, just a little bit. I'm really sorry, but like, I will also offer to come and help. I don't know how, but I could paint the walls or do something. Just always a little bit disappointed in the marine invertebrate room, and you'll see why. All of these other wonderful, incredible spaces, and you get to the marine inverts and it's like, right, well, okay then. Look, there's some incredible stuff in here. We've got things like a wonderful collection of shells, and my absolute favourite, barnacles. These are goose barnacles. If you want to go and find out all about them, you can check out my video on that I actually just performed last week in a London theatre talking about them. And these giant barnacles, they're so giant. They're so cool. We've got lobsters and crabs and crustaceans, and these, which are not crustaceans, they are more closely related to spiders. We have lovely giant squid thing model, and we've got pictures of corals and starfish. So it covers the basis. We're covering each of the bases of the phylums of sea life. But come, I'm sorry, we could be doing a little bit better. I could think of 1,000 ways to do that. You could have gorgeous artwork that walks you through the intricacies, the weirdness, the wonderfulness. Compared to the rest of the museum, I'm always just slightly disappointed with this. Just feels like a generic room that they've chucked in some sea life to, but at least I like the fact that they're covering all the phylums. So, and they're covering bryozoans, echinoderms. I'll show you some pictures. I'll show you some cool things close up, but I think Natural History Museum, get in touch. Let's nail this. Let's spruce up, make the marine invertebrates the best thing in the museum, because they're the best things on our planet, right? hottest room in the entire place. It has 2 giant fans. So hot. Sweaty. Giant leatherback turtle. And this is always a really nice, stunning cafe. With a panda, of course. So there are lots of cafes in the museum. This one is at the back of the main hall. There's another couple on like different layers. And I suppose I haven't spoken yet about pricing. So the Natural History Museum is completely free to come in, which I just love. I adore that fact. I think it is one of the best things about London museums in general is that they tend to be free. There's paid exhibits, so if you come and there's something on that you want to see, if you want to go and see something specific and come back, you can go and see exhibitions, and they tend to be really cool and like on really specific detailed stuff, which is always really fun. But the rest of the whole Natural History Museum is absolutely, completely and totally free for people to use, which I just think is incredible and so important. Now, we haven't had much dinosaur content yet, which is surprising given that we are the Natural History Museum known for dinosaurs. Started off with our friend Dippy, but we are heading into this section which has a few more dinosaurs in, and I'm saving the actual dinosaur section to the end because there's a few cool things on that. And I'll have to go and find the picture and see if I'll include it, but I have taken a picture next to this. So this behind me is a pliosaur. It is a marine dinosaur, I think. Actually, I don't actually think you can have dinosaurs. They are marine fossil reptiles. Dinosaurs are technically only on land, which is why, have I ever really been a true fan of dinosaurs? Well, but I have pictures of me being really, really tiny, taking a picture next to this giant marine reptile fossil, and I've replicated that when I go back. And I've got pictures of me as an adult, which I think is really, really fun. I'm here on my own today, so I won't be able to replicate that shot, but we can try our best with a quick, when it's clear, I might do a quick pose on the selfie stick. And, but this is also a pliosaur up here, pliosaur, whatever it is, and that was discovered by Mary Anning, who was one of those figures in history, being a woman, that has been ignored and underrated. And the Swansea University had a boat called the Not to Luca, and when they upgraded the boat, they put a competition out to see what it was going to be called. It's actually called the Mary Anning, which is really awesome. And I'll have to do more of a detailed video on Mary Anning, but she discovered so many incredible fossils that when discovered under another person's name, under a man's name, that because you couldn't be part of the Royal History Societies and all this sort of thing. And so now they're kind of backdating the credit to give to Mary Anning, and one of her things up here is this. And I like the fact that appeared later on in my life is the nice picture talking about Mary Anning on the big pliosaur dinosaur thing. I don't actually think she did that one over there. She did this one. But I just love the fact that is what, that was the one that it got included on, which I think is really cool. This whole corridor and this whole section has some incredible fossils of marine reptiles. I still think they should be allowed to be called dinosaurs, but whatever. Which are really, really cool and really, really stunning. I mean, a lot of these look like different types of dolphins. Fair enough, dolphins still exist today. But I really like the idea that in mythology, dragons sometimes might have come from dolphins, because they would have been washed up. These skeletons, these fossils would have been found on beaches, and you can kind of see that there's the skull and the wings, and then the tail, and I can see how you might mistake like a dragon for that kind of fossil. I mean, aren't the giant sloths just incredible? So down this corridor as well, which might be of interest to me, and maybe not all of you, but we shall see too, is there's a little section on tiny, weeny little fossils. Should be here. And it's all about fossils from Britain. Loads and loads and loads and loads and loads of different ones. And I can't quite remember exactly where it is, so I'm going to have to search for it. But there is a fossil from the Isle of Sheppey, which is where I grew up. And if you want to see a video about fossiling on the Isle of Sheppey, you can go, there it is. Oh, and the tooth. I'm not going to brag, but I found a better shark's tooth than that. If you want to go see me find a megalodon tooth on the Isle of Sheppey, then go check out this video because it is really, really cool. Oh, what do you mean there's one of the best gift shops ever here? That's my rule. I'm going to go at the end. We're not done yet. I'm going to go at the end. Okay, so there's a creepy crawly section. A lot of this is spiders and insects, and this is like a staple as a kid. And it's definitely now feels like a bit of a dated exhibit, but you gotta love it. It has so been well used and loved. Oh, look at this. This is new. Wow, that's so cool. See, this is why you've always got to go around and check out the stuff because it's always new. This is so fascinating. Wow. That's so cool. So a lot of the time, and pigments for old paints used to come from bits of crushed up shell. So we've got like crab shells here and lobster shells here. There used to be a type of snail that you could only get this purple paint from. And it all just came from this one kind of snail shell, I think in Italy or Rome or somewhere. So that's really cool to be going and showing the colour of all this stuff. We've also got, oh no, wait, this would be perfect for my tiny person. I feel like I'm in Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
I've been trapped, it's got me in its claws.
The cabinet of crustacean curiosities. Absolutely. With some wonderful puns coming out of her shell. Not working. Oh, hello. This is a lovely bit of art too. Oh, I'm just going to chill at the beach. Ah, this is nice. I can hear the sea breeze. Oh, it's so cool. I mean, the barnacle bill was busy. People wanted to go through and do the thing, which I'll fully let them go and do and explore. So you've got to, come down to the Natural History Museum and have a go and see why it's so important, the barnacle bill. It's talking a lot about the fact that he wants to go out and catch fish, and that you need crustaceans and then plankton and all these different things go into the natural environment to make sure that barnacle bill can get his fish for tea, which I just think is such a lovely and awesome message. And this must be one of the absolutely most well-used sections of the Natural History Museum. Even now as an adult, you've got to pop in for a little bit. It was so fun as a kid, and it's still... Okay, we're going to go ahead to dinosaurs, which is like the big awesome thing that loads of people love to do, because it is awesome exhibition here. But you've heard my rant about the fact that marine things are not dinosaurs, which endlessly winds me up. We are still going into the dinosaur exhibition for a awesome reason. And if anyone knows where this is, not just in the dinosaur exhibition, in the rest of the museum, please let me know. But I always like to go into the dinosaur exhibition to go and find this thing that just also happens to be in the same room. That being said, this is absolutely classic. This is a staple of coming to the Natural History Museum, if I'm honest. But if you do want to visit the Natural History Museum and you don't want it to be incredibly busy, like you want a more chill time, avoid this section. It is always going to be the busiest. Because it's so awesome. T-Rex is down. I have never been to the Natural History Museum and the T-Rex is not there. No, that's the coolest bit. Oh, I'm so sad for everyone that's just this is like their first visit. This will be so sad. Okay, I really am whizzing around all these. I'm not going to show you all the stuff properly, just because I think you should come and enjoy it yourself, especially if you're a dinosaur human. There's dinosaurs hanging off the ceiling. There's lots of little bits of dinosaur to look at. I'm now just annoying anyone that loves dinosaurs because they're like, show me the dinosaurs, and I'm like, I need to walk around all of this to get to the bit that I want to show you. And you're going to get super annoyed if you are like dinosaurs, because what I'm going to show you isn't dinosaur related. The dinosaur exhibit just happens to also be where on the walls it's all carved into sea life, and what I love is it starts on the bottom at seaweed and works all the way up and goes with all these lovely fish and ends with the waves right at the top there. I love this. I love that sea life is carved into the very walls of the Natural History Museum, as well as the fluffy dinosaurs. But there's just so many, all of these incredible, gorgeous, lovely species that so many people just walk past, because obviously the dinosaurs are awesome and you want to see the dinosaurs hanging from the ceiling and stuff, but like the whole place, all of the walls are covered in this just gorgeous sea life art, and I could not be happier about it. I also love that in all the fishes, like someone managed to sneak in a couple of octopuses. They were like, look, will you let me at least have one vertebrate in? Just one. Most intelligent of them all. And then I do like this bit at the end, because this will work really well for my miniature human too, is that they have these models of dinosaurs that are like the actual like scaled replicas. So this is like half the life size ones. So some of them aren't going to be very big at all, but this one is like 1/12, so the Tyrannosaurus Rex will be way bigger. Well, this has been amazing. It's not quite the end. I'm trying to work out. I've somehow forgotten, because where I thought it was, there's now an exhibition in that section that I would have like cut through to get to. But there is one more section I want to show you. It's nothing to do with marine life, but we'll leave, and it's a very dramatic way of leaving, which I love. So I'm going to go and try and work out from the map how to get around to there. And then I'm going to head out and go maybe chill in that garden in the sun for a bit. It's a lovely weather. I haven't even showed you, there's probably at least 50% more stuff that I could have showed you. There's loads and loads of stuff that I could just talk about for days. So if you've loved this video, please, please, please let me know, because I'll make so many more every time I'm back in London and celebrate this absolutely wondrous place. Now, let's try and find how to get to Earth Hall, and we'll leave during the coolest escalators ever. I have found the way. I got a bit confused. I thought this was the exhibit, because there's a bird exhibit on at the moment, but it's not. It's just the bird corridor, which has lots of stuffed birds in, and many, many, many hummingbirds. Is like the other way that you can come in. So you can come in during the front, which is what I showed you at the start, but you can also keep walking further, like up Exhibition Road, like closer to the V&A Museum, and you can come in the other side, which is a nice trick if you want a bit of quieter time. A really big cafe here, which tends to be a bit quieter, given that it's just a bit harder to find. And then this is what I wanted to show everyone before I left. This awesome place. So this whole section is all studying the wonders of our like actual natural world. If you like earthquakes, come to this section. If you like how building stuff, come to this section. And you can go up the escalators, which of course we've got to do, into the mystical glow place. No, we can't, because the escalators are broken. So I think we'll conclude our Natural History Museum thing there. I'll show you where you come out. So these are the escalators, and you just walk down these steps, and you can come in this way. So it says that this is the accessible entrance, so accessible entrance around the side. And this is Exhibition Road, and this right across here is the Victorian Albert Museum, which is also a really, really awesome museum to go and check out. And this is what we're outside. This is so cool. It's such a lovely day. Oh, this museum is incredible. It's so, so fun. And I love also the fact that it's a research place. There's researchers that work here. You know, science is going on behind the scenes as well as out on the museum floor. Stunning. We're back at the gardens where we started. So this is where I shall leave and finish for the day. This has been incredible. I had so much fun bringing you all around with me on this adventure. Feels like I got to take someone to the Natural History Museum for the first time, which is what I absolutely love to do if I ever get the chance to do that. What a glorious day. I'm going to enjoy the most of summer and the most of the rest of the sun, and then I'm actually heading to a book launch. So I'm going to have to head off after sitting in the sun for a bit. I'm going to Roma Agrawal's book launch, which I got invited to. If you like this video, please like, subscribe and share, and I'll make a ton more. Bye everyone.